So I come across a email campaign by USDA, which is related to a SNAP program. Before 2008, SNAP program is actually called a food stamp. So people in my generation, we we're familiar with the term of food stamp, but now they call that SNAP. SNAP stands for supplement nutritious some sort of program. So let me just share screen with you. And so let's talk about this because I want to show you what's going on out there. And, with government funding, folks, and I want you to realize, through pandemic, and we all benefited from the government funding, right? You got PPP, one, you got PPP two, you got EIDL loan, and you got RF, venue shattered grants, all kind of state grants, and people, putting out their hands. Some of them could get, five, six, those grants into their business. And don't kidding yourself that those are the money coming in, and so you can use it however you want it, and nobody would be bothering you, and you're just lucky you get the money. No, government program requires compliance, and the government program will be compliance reviewed, and you will have to prove that you have been using that money properly, and most importantly, you have been applying for that grant properly. You're not making up data, and you're not doing something fraudulent on your end to get that money. So all of that, it is really do require you to be sensitive to what kind of books and records, who is on your accounting and to produce your records, and those are all becoming very important. So be aware, and only when you know that is required, then you know how to find ways to be in compliance, right? See, this is July 2nd, just about 15 days ago. And here in Des Moines, and today I'm in Des Moines, Iowa. Okay, this is where Community CPA started. We started in this city, this state. Now we are in Minnesota, and we're also in California. But look at this. And the Des Moines man sentenced for defrauding WIC. This is women nutrition, women, infant, and children benefit, and the SNAP program, defrauding that. And he received 39 years old, folks. Okay, people who are 39 years old, and he was doing wrong thing from January 2017 to April 19, and it was sentenced 15 months in jail. Okay, so, and he is a business owner, and um, luckily, and he's not our client, so he is a business owner, and he did something, did a fraudulent activities on SNAP program. And one of the things I read on the newspaper is that, and normally a grocery store, you have 10% of the sales coming from SNAP program, that kind of considered normal. But in this particular store, they have over 90% SNAP program purchase. So what could happen is, I will explain to you, these are the fraud, and the system will detect. And I mean, technology had brought compliance becoming very visible and convenient. And if you were doing fraudulent businesses 30 years ago, you got away and nobody really discovered you. And I would say you got a chance to do that just because there's not much of coordination. The data doesn't compile, and there's not enough manpower to look at every grocery store. Today is different. It is different because the SNAP program has the card, and your transaction goes into the government, and they can look at what you are doing if they want to. Okay, so this is most recent charges that on internet, and I just simply Googled the internet, and then look at this. This is another SNAP program fraudulent, total 3.7 million. Okay, not by a small amount, in Florida, Jacksonville, and a 180. Okay, 180 these people and will go in jail. Okay, that is how, this is where I'm saying that, when you are in business, and one of the court cases that I was reading, it says that um, the defendant was actually an immigrant from another country, a refugee. And one of the argument, which I truly believe that was a that was a correct one. It wasn't made up or anything. They're coming from a country that they had no respect to the government. So when they brought up in that kind of country, they flee over to US. So the respect to the government is not there. And what they forgot to notice that in US, the government is a people's government, because we are the one elected those officials to be president or to be the judge. Not the judge is appointed, but I mean all the other um, congresswomen and the men and the senators, right? So we are really the people made the government. So the government should not be, and I would like to see it not be corrupt. So we need to do the right thing. When you have a government like that, it's not corrupt and it's doing the right thing, and the rules, regulation come out of government, and we need to respect. But the people who are coming into the country, they're not yet growing into American kind of mindset. They're still looking at the government as if they're upset of them. So when they do these kind of thing, they don't even feel guilty. They think that is, I'm just smart, and I am smarter than the government. So that thinking completely need to be abolished, and we need to educate our folks that who are new to America to really understand. Number one, the government is people's government. Number two, and it is the technology that has becoming so profound. It is changing lives and also making compliance million times easier. So these people were not doing the fraudulent for 10 years, 20 years to be caught. It is only 17 months and they would be caught. So it is very short time, but obviously damage is huge. And there's so many people in that area would not be able to buy food with the SNAP program because it is will be shut down. Their supermarket will lose that sale, and they can't sell. People who are on SNAP program cannot go to buy because they don't have that system. They're barred from using those system. Then of course there's another one in California, and 3.8 million, and the four got charged. This one even more. This one is much more technical, and basically they even created their machine and to help with the fraudulent activity. So very smart, but it's a wrong smart, right? I would say. So now let's talk about what I prepared for all of you. And we will start with the SNAP program summary. And, everything we say, it is obviously of my opinions, and you take that with grain of salt. And if I said things wrong, and, I welcome you to tell me. But in most of the cases, and we're doing our best to provide the most useful knowledge to you. We're not going to be a textbook readers tell you that to do this and that. We are relating our own life experience to you because we are immigrants. And I myself, and I was born in China and I grew up in Canada and I'm immigrant to US. So I know what immigrants going through because I did twice, right? And I also understand with my client, this whole practice is a learning classes for me every day. If I have 9 appointment a day, that means I'm learning 9 times from different people. And imagine I've been doing this for 25 years, and of course I learned a whole bunch, so I can share that with you. And I really understand the urgency of everyone want to be successful. But when you want to be successful, doesn't mean you want to take a shortcut are doing things wrong or not knowing you are doing it wrong and fall down, because to get up is not as easy. Okay, so that's why we're putting this program together and kind of coordinating with USDA's campaign about SNAP program compliance, really teach people out there to understand the rules and regulations and practice in good faith, so we can make sure that your business stay on and you have something that you can be proud of, and not like what you have seen those examples I show you and the people doing it wrong. I'm pretty sure during those months they're doing it wrong and they're pretty happy with their profit. They think it's easy money, it is great. No, it is not that great when you do it wrong, because sooner or later you will come to facing your own mistakes. And some mistakes you can go to jail for 15 months to get it fixed, but some mistakes will cost you a lifetime. You will never be able to get up. So let's not go there. And what is SNAP? SNAP stands for Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program. Okay, I forgot what is the A, assistance program. And this has been put in place for a long time. Before 2008, it was called food stamp. And after that, it's called SNAP. And it's for essential good in the store. So let's talk about what is essential food. Means that you can use this SNAP program benefit that giving to you to buy fruits, vegetables, meat, poultry, fish, dairy product, and the bread and the cereals and the seed plants that produce food for household. Okay, so this is the essential goods. That's the definition. So what also that also means that you should not be using that SNAP program card, that benefit card you have to purchase alcohol. Am I right? And because that's not essential. And if you, that's from the consumer standpoint, okay, I know I'm not going to use that to buy anything other than this. But from the store owner standpoint, and you carry a grocery store, you have product that is qualified for SNAP, you have product that is not qualified for the essential goods, and you want to shelf them separately. And you want your cash register to clearly identify which one you can use their card. They call them EBT card, electronic benefits transfer, because the government will give the money to the card, the people will hold the card, come to buy food. And so the store manager, the store owners, and you want to know that you want to make sure you're separating them and letting them pay with the EBT card only for these essential items, right? So now, and what kind of store is authorized to have this kind of program? You may say that, well, I have a grocery store. I never really did that. So tell me, do I qualify? What do I need to do? So there's a two criterions, and is A and a B, and is staple food inventory, staple food sales. So what that means staple food are the food commonly found in person's regular diet. Rice, that's a staple food. Bread, that's a staple food. And if then you say, oh, is candy staple food? Is not, right? So the store that located in the area where the SNAP qualifying individual is populated, because whoever to apply for the SNAP program and they have an address. So in the USDA system, they actually know where these people are. So when these people are more concentrated in certain areas, those grocery stores opened in that areas will most likely qualify for SNAP program. Okay. And, we have a client who are trying to get a SNAP program. They open up a new grocery store, but the previous owner of the grocery store had done fraudulent activities in the SNAP program, got shut down. That's why they went out of business. But when they go in to use the same location, that went through a lot harder approval process than otherwise would be. So they have to prove that they have no relationships. They have to prove that the business is not related to the previous owner. All of that, all of the additional compliance requirement coming in for them to be eligible to carry SNAP program in the store. So how do people purchase using SNAP benefit? So SNAP benefit are electronic benefit transfer, right? So they give you a card, and that card is like a debit card. So it has money value in the card, and then you just take that, and you also are giving a PIN number. So you take that card and you go to any store that receive the EBT and sell the staple food, those essential goods, and then you can buy them. But of course, some stores, they sell those staple food, but they don't have SNAP program. So you want to know whether they have that program, then you can use it. See, they look like that. In Iowa, it looked like this. And in this one, I don't know which state is that. So they have a different look for different ETB card. To apply for as a business owner, when you open up a grocery store, you want to apply for that. Before you apply for that, it is important to review the code of regulation. I know a lot of times those owners who open up grocery stores, you probably didn't have education and English is second language, and you're not familiar with these things, and you know that you can get different language version of these regulation, you can still read it. And I always say that, I used to tell people that, okay, if you don't read it, you come to me and I'll read it for you, and then then I realized that those are almost like empty promises. I don't have time to read for them, and then they find a reason to not read themselves. So I tell the grocery store startup owners that just spend one afternoon and know that if you want SNAP program in your store, spend one afternoon to read it. I know it is not interesting read, but by reading it, that motion itself will give you the importance of knowing the rules and regulation. Sometimes we just have to put that as a important thing before we're really willing to change our way of doing things, but making it compliance. Compliance is not convenience. They're not the same thing. And every compliance means inconvenience. That's why there are people, when they're running for president or governor, they talk about, decentralize the government or centralize the government, bigger government, smaller government. It is all about compliance. The bigger government will have a bigger compliance. Compliance is not convenience, but compliance is needed in order the program to survive. Imagine if we all do fraudulent stuff on the food stamp, but it will be gone. And there is no more money, and the people don't respect the program, and you're not helping the one really in need. And who you are helping are the fosters, and they just think that the rule is not to be respected and just do whatever they want. So that is not a good American way. And we want the American way to be that there is a rule, we are all focused on that, and we're all doing good with it, because that's the only way, is what I call level the playing field, right? So we all compete at the same level. The Des Moines cases you see, and we are actually accounting for a different store. It is not even 5 miles apart. It's different store, and is selling the same thing. But the store, we are their accountant, and we actually know that they're doing very good. I knew people are doing good just because how their income come through and how they report their expense. You can tell they are following the rules, and they really respect what need to be done, and they make good money, and they have a good life. But look at this one. And sure, maybe made a lot of easy money, but what? Going to jail for 15 months is not even worth it. And for 17-month fraudulent activity, going for 15-month jail, and that is just not a good idea. So really do go through the regulation. And then after you read the regulation, you apply, right? This is where a CPA firm or law firm can actually come in to help you, because the paperwork is a lot, and you want to make sure that you have supporting details document about the store and the owner, and this includes your home address, social security, and the sales data for the store. Once you begin the application, you will only have 30 days to complete, so they don't drag it. You start it and you need to end in 30 days. To save time, have your estimated sales data ready before you start your online application. This is the hardest part for our new clients. For example, you start a grocery store and a 40,000 square footage large supermarket. You actually don't know what is your sale is because it's so new, right? And if the owner didn't have another store to compare, so when you apply for these things and you kind of stuck, you're not sure what to get, this is where you will use CPA firms, because the CPA firms has data. They know that 40,000 square footage grocery store, how much sale would generate in the first year. And a lot of times when I get involved with projecting the people applying for loans, or they're trying to set up a new business with a lot of regulatory requirement, and to do those projections, knowing how much you're going to be, you need to talk to people like myself with a lot of experience, and we know the data, and we can tell you that 40,000 square footage of a grocery store, the first year sale from get-go, it should be right around $4 million. And why do I say that? Because we knew those grocery stores, when they have 8,000 square footage to 10,000, 20,000, 30,000, we have all of these data in our own practice. Obviously, we can't tell you who they are, why we got that data, but we have it. So that's where you needed help from professional to apply for that. Then of course, and you will have those application. This is actually the screenshot for you to get into the USDA authentication pages. You see how that is this way, and you can create account, update account. Know that this portal is only open for 30 days, so you need to finish. And what is extremely important for the store to begin the SNAP program is the training. The training, okay, there's two things you need to do before you get into the SNAP program, and you need to do a training. So you need to document your training, right? And for the whole store, you need to do it once a year. And for everyone who comes later, every employee, who comes later, they need to be trained before they start working. So you need to have a record of that. And a lot of times, and the bigger grocery store, what they do is they actually would get new employees into the office, and they will play the videos and compiling all the necessary USDA's videos and their own videos, and to do those training together. So if your store is small and you want that videos for your employee, you obviously can contract your CPA firms, your law firms, and to have them make one for you and adjust for you. So that way, that the employee will sign off. I got the training. I know the rule now, right? Because even if you as an owner didn't teach anybody to do it wrong, but your cashier at the cashier desk are doing it wrong, and that is still your fault. It is not, you can't escape from responsibility. It is retailer's responsibility. Okay, so I want to make sure, and those are important. The most important things is training. That's why we have this one with you. And you can literally mark that we did the training. I did the training because I was listening to Ying's webinar on SNAP program. And so you must have approved that what you did, right? Now, so there are three very normal fraud that people knows, which is to purchase things that are not considered SNAP eligible with SNAP card. How do people do that? There are stores and the customer come over and bought SNAP program eligible food and also bought other things. And so the cashier there and would charge everything to SNAP card, to the EBT card. And instead of separating them, one should be paid by other means and one can be paid by the SNAP program benefit. And there are also stores, those stores got charged. What they do is they knew that is not eligible one, but when they ran it into the eligible items. So it is not just the customer and not separating it for you, but a lot of it is initiated by the cashiers at that time. And when they charges, they purposefully charge everything into the SNAP program item. The worst that will label you as a fraud is when you knew that item is not a SNAP program item, but you still charge to a item that make that available, make that a SNAP program item. And a lot of time that is caught by people who are coming from the government, and they just go in and to do certain purchase, or they connect with your community, asking your community members to show one of their purchase. So that's how they catch you. Okay. And then of course, traffic SNAP benefit. And this one, and my understanding is that I of course don't really know anybody who did that, but I know that's one of the categories for fraud. And what they do is people would buy a whole bunch of SNAP program benefit items. For example, I am a SNAP. I got the benefit. I go to one retail store, buy a bunch of rice, right? Use my card, and then I come to another store. I sell the rice to the other store and ask for less money cash back to me. So that's called traffic SNAP benefit. And I never really knew anybody who did that, but I have heard that is a very significant fraud out there because basically this person, when they buy it, is all SNAP eligible item, but when they turn around to another grocery store they had a relationship with, and that store just gonna buy their food so they can resell, but at the same time, and they give the cash back to that person. So that is trafficking. So wrong, right? And it's really wrong. And I just cannot, I do not think that a good business person, you can really sleep properly if you run that kind of action, because that those kind of deed, they do come back to you. I have seen too many. You may say that, well, Ying, why do you know? What do you know? I know. Okay. I have people went in jail. I know them. I personally know them. They are good people, but they make a wrong choice. There's no way out. Okay. So really hear me. It's not worth it. And if you do a good business, you're going to make it. You don't need anything like this to make you rich. Don't need it. Okay. Now, the other one is indirectly traffic SNAP benefit. I don't even know how indirectly, but one of those news says that they actually bought a POS system. And you know how you can use SNAP card to nationwide. So even if I let's say I live in Minnesota, I got a SNAP card, but I can use that in California when I travel. So that card is everywhere, you can use it. So what can happen is one of the cases that was charged for federal prison sentences is because they bought a POS system, and when they use SNAP card, when custom come in, swipe the card, that actually goes to a different SNAP program account in different state. So this place is in Florida, but when they swipe that POS system to use the benefit, it's actually landed in some store in Texas. So that is organized crime, all the way from from trafficking SNAP program benefit to computerize the criminal act to make it more seamless and make it more hard for the government to discover. Okay, so with that, I want to say those are federal prison sentences, and they're not something you just stay at home and hide for a couple months and you can come out. No. So I know a community person. I'm telling you that very good looking gentleman have so much future and very knowledgeable and has done fraud and went into prison for 3 years. And during those 3 years, the poor wife was telling people that, oh, he is in Hong Kong, he is in Malaysia, and he's so busy doing business. But in reality, we know that he's in jail for 3 years. But when this person come out from jail, it's not the same person, and you just don't want that life experience, and just don't do it. Okay, and this SNAP program is too easy to be caught. There is no need to be smart, and just follow the rules and your grocery store will prosper. You will do good when you follow the rules. And here is the retailer responsibility. What they are saying is that you should have this kind of sign and put in your store to tell them that, buying or selling SNAP EBT benefit, it is illegal. And if you put that out there, people who are trying to use you, they will stop. The one who are trying to influence you, they will stop. So I would recommend you to do that. You can find those posters on the SNAP on the government website, and it's called SNAP fraud poster, and put that in the visible area. Retailer responsibility continued, so you must do training, and you must do training within 30 days for every of your new employee. You must repeat the training at least once a year. See how important that is? And the SNAP EBT walkthrough, you may be curious that SNAP transaction will look like once your store is accepted, and following the detailed explain that you can expect. So number one, the transaction on the SNAP program, and it's actually date stamped. They know exactly when you did that transaction, and it's by date. Of course, by date, by year, and by hours, by the minute. So they know exactly what transaction happened, whether it is during your store opening time or not. So that's number one. Number two, and they also tied with the person's name. So you can imagine that if someone come in and bought 10 bags of rice in one shot, and the next day on the program, it shows that they bought another 10 bags. And you think that's normal? Of course not. That would raise red flags at the government site. That would trigger an investigation. So everyone, we eat and we sleep, and we can only eat so much. And if you have a SNAP program for 3 people in your household, and you're buying things like, in one shot, in one purchase, you used up all your SNAP program. That doesn't look right, because those essential food, those staple food, they do expire. So you shouldn't be able to buy something for the whole month in one shot. Those are suspicious transactions. They're wondering why you're buying so much. Are you actually selling it to another store? Right? So that is where it will come in and to ring a red flag for you. And when you so here it says that number one, separate SNAP eligible food from non-eligible. This is just practice to tell the store owner that you really should separate them so they can pay. When a customer come to the table and has all these things they buy, and that, okay, are you using SNAP program? Yes. And then you separate them right there. And if your store is big, you can literally separating them on the aisles so that so they know which aisles are EBT available, right? And ensure that your employee presses the SNAP or oriented transaction button during the checkout, because when you use that card and there is a machine just for the EBT, and of course you register that. So on your POS system, you should have an indicator, because later on when you get audited, and you would need to find them to show that what kind of item was purchased in great detail, right? And here you have the number 3. Once the customer has entered their PIN, closely review the transaction, because sometimes they enter their PIN, but the transaction didn't go through. Then don't imagine that it will go through. It's not. So make sure you look at that as being approved before you give everything to your customer, and provide your customer with receipts. That's required. Okay, so now let's look at the data. Look at how things are going for the SNAP redemption trend nationwide. Redemption just means that people who are using the SNAP program to buy food, they actually used the benefit. And look at that, it skyrocketed in 2020. Okay, of course 2020 is a hard year, and more people, a lot of people lose their job, and they actually get on SNAP program, so that's understandable. And for that reason, this 2020, it will be a huge compliance year. And you will see, if you are a business owner, you will get your fair share. And but when that comes, obviously you can rely on Community CPA to help you, to assist you. And we understand the business people as much as we educate you. And we understand sometimes mistakes is already being made. We never would be in the position to judge you. We don't judge you, because we're not the judges, we're not the attorney, we're simply the accountant. But what we do is, and we will do our best to remedy the situation. And if you need to pay it back, we pay it back. We come back with a plan with the government. And it is a lot better to come forward with the correction item, with the correction steps, then get caught, and then everything become a fraudulent claim. So a lot of time is just being it's just being naive. You don't understand the government rules. And so make sure that if you get educated here and there, start to realize that, oh, I wasn't doing that right, change that immediately at the same time. And find the person you can trust, talk about the issues, and see what is the remedy to correct that. And don't imagine that things will just go by. Is not, because the technology has been so advanced. There's no such a thing about getting away and nobody knows. I don't believe it, because I have never seen one like that. So this is continued on SNAP data. Here you see in 2020, the authorized store is 250. And you do remember that trend was going up, but authorized store is going down. So maybe, I'm just thinking that it could very well be they're just people couldn't sustain the business and close the business in 2020. But generally speaking, the SNAP program, the grocery stores are doing pretty good during the pandemic. So questions, and the truths are false. You can exchange cash for SNAP EBT benefits with customers. What is that? Of course, that is false. It is against law to give customer cash for SNAP benefits. Okay. And if customer goes, can I have some cash out? No. But if they use their credit card or their own debit card, of course you can, but not on the SNAP, right? This is a form of direct trafficking. It's called, they even have a criminal name on it. It's called direct trafficking, and can lead your store to lose permissions to participate in SNAP program. Don't do that to yourself, right? So no cash on SNAP benefit. And you notice a SNAP customer trying to purchase the following item from your store: alcohol and a brand new cleaning supply and the store brand pet food. Which of the following item were you not permit your customer to purchase with SNAP? Which one are you going to say, well, you have to pay it with your own money, not the EBT card? Which one? Of course, the correct answer is all of above. None of these items are staple food, right? All right. So now another question for you. And the documentation of SNAP training is an essential aspect of proper regulating your store. Is this true? Documentation of training, proof of training. Of course, that's true. In order to effectively familiarize your staff with SNAP, it is critical that you date all training training contacts in order to properly distribute training information. So if you hire a new employee and they need to be trained on this, if you are SNAP program carrier, they need to be trained within 30 days. And one of the good practice tip I gave you is making a videos for your store, and go around the store and point out which aisle, which section is the staple food that qualifies for SNAP, and make a videotape about a person who bought all these food and separating them out and how to charge one batch of them to a credit card, the other batch of them to the EBT card, and just do those kind of process, show them like a little movie, right? These are the best practice tips that we have for you. And another question, someone offers to supply your store with certain inventories for a cheaper price because they have SNAP benefit. You recognize this as a trafficking and decline. And what form of trafficking is this? Is this direct trafficking or indirect trafficking? I'm even learning this. It is indirect because they bought a whole bunch of things and then they sell it to you. When they do that, and in the not IRS, in the USDA system, in the SNAP program, it will show that she bought a lot of food, used a lot of money in one shot. So if they're doing another one, and then obviously post question that why are you buying food like that? And if you're buying it this way, and are you doing an indirect trafficking, or or you're saying that you're just storing your food at home? And so those are red flags, folks, red flags. And it is categorized as an indirect trafficking because it is against law to buy store inventory from customer who receive SNAP programs. So in another word, if someone, I have a truck driver one time, and he runs a trucking business, and somehow he got stopped in the storm. So he had a whole truck of cantaloupes, whole truck, and it cannot be delivered to Destiny. If he does that, then it will go bad. So he called our firm asking, do you know any grocery stores close by? I just want to give that away. I don't need, otherwise it's going to be wasted. So we of course know the surrounding stores. So we got him connected, and he delivered the truck over, and they gave one store, part of it, another store, another part of it. And the store owners was kind enough that paid him. It is obvious he didn't use SNAP EBT program to buy all these cantaloupe because he's a truck driver, right? He had this truckload of things. And so in that case, obviously as a business owner, you know that is not indirect trafficking. But if you have some individuals who are not in business and they're just, their life is not super wealthy and cannot spare more, but here they come to sell you and 2 bags of rice. And then you would, as a store owner, you would post a question, and don't get there. Don't do that. And ask them, are you a beneficiary? Do you have a benefit from SNAP program? They will answer. They will say no. If no, then obviously they may say that, well, I just got this from my relatives. I don't need it, and I just want to sell some to you to get some cash. I don't see that to be wrong. I think that's fine. But if they are a SNAP program recipients, then you just don't do that. Even though they say that is not, I didn't use it. In Chinese saying, it goes that you don't fix your hat under the peach tree. Because when you fix your hat under the peach tree, they think you're stealing the peaches, right? And you don't fix your shoes in the watermelon field. Because when you bend down to fix your shoes, what does that look like? Look like you're stealing watermelon, right? So in business, a prudent business owner or business person, a entrepreneur would go away from those kind of situation. Would know that it's not a good situation. I'm not going to get close to that. So this is where it feels like I'm preaching for something. Some people probably don't care, but I really hope that what I'm preaching making a little bit of sense to some of you. And we have, I have all my good thought for you, and I want every business people to get in the business, do so well. And I don't want anyone to, based on their culture background or maybe their upbringing, them making mistake that so serious and they didn't realize that it was serious. So with that, and I felt like I am the kind of person that when you tell me, and I do this, I do that, and if it is wrong, and I tell you, don't do this, don't do that, and I always get good response because I know the business owner, the entrepreneur receive my sincerity. I'm not here trying to make you feel difficult to run your business. And I'm here to make sure that your business not only going to do well, and is also going to last long and leave a name for yourself for running a very good, prosper business and never relying on anything to lead you doing wrong to get the prosperity. That doesn't last long. That actually is the illusion. It comes and goes very fast, just like those people you see. And they run for 17-month fraudulent activity, get caught, going into jail for 15 months. What's so good about that, right? So I'll wrap up with today's talk, and I hope that you got my message and anything related to compliance. If you have any questions, and we are at the place and we tell you what that need to be done and anything we can improve, we help you to improve, and we grow our business together with yours. Nice talking to you. Bye-bye.